What?
I suppose you've met with our murder victim, Richard Remington.
Yes, I've been in and out of this place for a while now. Naturally, I've crossed paths with Remington a number of times. Good value, that one. A real raconteur, you know.
You liked him? So far, I'm getting the impression he wasn't the most popular guy around here.
Well, that much is clear, isn't it? The man obviously slipped up somewhere, made an enemy or two, and bam, that's that. You just can't be too careful, can you?
Yeah, I think he did have an enemy or two. Or three. But you liked him.
I respected him. Good head on his shoulders. Good business sense, that man. He understood how to make things work for him.
What can you tell me about these designs for a boggy costume?
Nothing whatsoever.
You're sure you didn't see anything like this while you were filming yesterday? Wait, hold on a minute. What if
Don't you dare ask.
This costume isn't your doing, is it? Made for your movie, I mean?
My friend, there will be no costumed idiots within the viewfinder of my camera. I can assure you that.
What about your boggy movie? Isn't that going to be, like, a guy in a costume, or a puppet, or one of those weird robot things?
Technology has been kind to people like me. We no longer have any need for such tomfoolery. I can create a perfectly believable swamp creature within the confines of a computer. Much cheaper, too.
I heard this isn't the first time you've tried to film here.
Where? In the swamp? What are you talking about?
Remington has denied you the filming permission in the past.
Oh, that. Nothing but the natural process of being in a profession like mine. Every situation simply requires the right approach before the gears start turning smoothly. You understand, I'm sure.
Why did Remington not want you filming here? And why did he change his mind?
It wasn't even up to him. This area is protected, you know. There are certain rules, certain regulations. I encounter this kind of thing all the time, really.
That doesn't explain why he changed his tune. It's a little suspicious.
Why would you say that?
A famous movie director suddenly gets his way? I wonder how that happened. Time to use my notebook. Just drag an item onto the paper to draw the idea. Right, that's the one. I think you bribed Remington to get the filming rights.
Well, bribe is a strong word. It was just a little arrangement between friends. Nothing worth getting upset about. I simply promised him a cut of my next movie's profits. It made sense, since he owned the area anyway. Just a favor for a favor.
So you would have owed him money?
Only a small percentage, simply out of courtesy. And not for a long time, either.
I found these designs for a costume, a boggy costume.
The legendary swamp creature.
Yeah, that's the one.
But these are just a child's drawings, are they not?
You think?
Perhaps. It's difficult to tell.
You saw Remington last night, but had you met him before? Did you know him?
I've never really spoken with him, but we've come into contact a few times. Vincent likes to handle that kind of work, and I like to let him.
What do you think of this place? The tourist attraction, I mean.
I can't say I like the idea of a natural area like this becoming commercialized.
I know! I just can't understand why anyone would even try.
I think Mr. Remington had his reasons. He looked like a man with a couple of secrets.
Like what?
I have no idea. If I knew, they wouldn't be secrets.
These flower petals seem a little out of place, lying on the ground over there.
You've arrived at a bad time, my friend. For once, they don't actually want tourists walking around this place.
I always arrive at a bad time. It's what I do. I'm a detective, not a tourist.
My apologies. It's just, you have the same wide-eyed expression as the kids that come here. Running around, spending their parents' money, you know.
Well, it's not every day I visit a swamp full of such unique specimens.
It's no problem. You're just thinking what we all thought when we arrived for the first time.
Why didn't they put in a bathroom?
No, you're thinking, this place is beautiful. What a lucky man I am to be here.
I am I? Well, if you say so.
Edward Everstone, at your service.
That's a pretty cool name. Can I call you Ed?
You don't need to. Everyone just calls me Echo.
Why? Because you're a good swimmer?
What? No. Because I always come back. Again and again, until my job is done.
You're protesting, right?
I certainly am. And now that you're here, I'm getting you involved.
What does that mean? Yeah, I haven't got time to hold up signs for you. I'm sorry.
You simply have to hear my message and take it with you.
Go ahead. I'm all ears. Plus, I have a little notebook.
What was the first thing you felt when you saw the sign for Boggy's Bog looming over you?
Well, I thought it was...
Not thought. Felt.
I felt... Well, something seemed wrong. There wouldn't be a tourist attraction in the middle of a swamp like this. There shouldn't be.
My job is done. Clearly your brain is working perfectly, Detective.
So you're against the tourist attraction? Yeah, let's see. You'd rather this area was kept as a natural habitat, right?
Right again. And that precise word, habitat. First and foremost, I'm protesting for animal rights.
Well, okay, I'm following you, but it's not like they're cutting down trees or anything like that, right?
All animals deserve the right to live in peace, and I promise you, on a normal day, this place is far from peaceful.
Are you talking about the swamp creature? About Boggy?
A creature like that. He's earned the right to be left alone. We're fools to invite ourselves into his home like this on a daily basis, assuming he's not going to mind. Assuming he'll keep to himself and let us walk around with his face on our t-shirts.
Well, I agree. I think he should be left alone. But like you said, he can probably handle himself. And if no one has even seen him in 60 years, I don't really see the problem.
Unlike you, Detective, I never had an academic calling in life. I was never even a talented artist or musician or anything. So instead, I made the decision to stand up for those who were getting a raw deal.
What can you tell me about these designs for a costume? A Boggy
It's
costume.
Boggy! I must admit, I've been a fan of his before I ever came to the swamp.
A fan? So you're interested in cryptozoology?
Oh, no, I meant, well, Boggy has been in all kinds of cartoons and comic strips. He's one of the greatest characters of the last 100 years. I've got some comics in my tent. You really should see.
But he was only discovered 60 years ago.
Oh, that's true. Well, I rounded up.
But what about his costume? Have you seen anyone wearing it?
I can honestly say I've never seen anyone wearing anything like that. And I'm a very observant person.
You come here every day.
Yes, I do.
Well, I'm only going to ask you about one of those days. What were you doing yesterday evening?
I was here at my protest spot until fairly late. Then I went to get something to eat at Harper's Cafe before I...
Wait, you ate at the cafe here? Doesn't supporting the tourist attraction like that kind of go against your protest?
A man has to eat, doesn't he? I don't think the meager contributions of one person are going to keep this place afloat. Especially now.
And you're sleeping here? Doesn't it get cold at night?
Well, I came prepared, of course. I usually find myself with 1 or 2 extra layers to wear. Most of this bulk is padding, I promise you.
I'm sure it is. So you stayed here the whole night?
That's right. And I admit I may have heard some stranger than usual sounds floating around the swamp last night.
What kind of sounds?
It's impossible to say. This place fills with the most terrifying sounds at night. Hundreds of animals, some tiny, some much larger, awaken and make their own protests. Every night until the sun rises in the morning.
Insects make noises at night. Okay, I've written it down. So what did Mr. Remington think of you? I mean, protesting in the middle of a swamp every day.
It wasn't his swamp. If he ever truly thought it was, then he was even more of a fool than he seemed.
But he didn't like you hanging around, right?
That man was exceptionally skilled at ignoring me, ignoring anything he didn't like.
So, what, he just left you alone?
He expected me to get bored and go home. He figured I'd get sick of this place and he'd have it back to himself.
But he didn't want it to himself, did he? He wanted lots of people to come visit all the time, surely.
I'm sure it says that in the brochure. Yes. He seems like a good person. He even sympathizes with my cause.
He agrees with your protest? But he works here, right? And he was friends with Remington.
I think that was the only reason he worked here. Maybe he'll see the light now and leave the swamp behind him. Maybe everyone will. I'm afraid I have no idea. Show it to somebody else. No thanks, my friend. I'm afraid I have no idea.
What?
You're not a bad detective.
Well, I found the photo in Remington's office. It was ripped up, though. I think he was some kind
He
of...
was a lot of things. Don't lose that picture. And show it to Mr. Harper before you leave. Show it to somebody else. No thanks, my friend. I'm afraid I have no idea. Show it to somebody else.
I'm impressed someone managed to pitch a tent here. And I'm impressed someone would want to. It's a colorful, boggy-themed padlock. He's staring into my soul. It should open if I set the right number.
No thanks, my friend. The murder victim.
Since last night, yeah. But he was the owner of Boggy's Bog. Did you know him?
Not personally. To be honest, I'm quite glad about it. You're asking the wrong person.
You again. Ready with some cryptic advice, no doubt?
Don't let them take him.
Who? The murderer? That's my job. I gotta make sure that they...
No, the creature. Don't take him away. This place is his home.
Oh, Boggy. Hey, don't worry. I didn't really believe he could be, responsible for this mess.
You didn't?
Well, no. Mainly because I didn't believe he existed at all.
So, he won't get in trouble? You won't have to leave?
Well, he's been out here for what, 60 years, hasn't he? And stayed out of trouble for that long. I have a feeling some detective isn't going to change all that in one day.
Well, in that case, he says... Thank you.
Try and solve every suspect's challenge topic. If you're struggling, don't forget to present profiles and clues to people who might be interested. Oh, and hurry up. It's cold in this boat.
I have a theory that the murderer was wearing a costume. A homemade outfit designed to look like the swamp creature.
I've never seen anything so ridiculous. You'd never see me in that.
I know it's not exactly the latest fashion, but...
No, you'd never see me in that. It would cover me up entirely.
That's the point of a disguise?
Look, detective. When you have legs like mine, you don't want to be wearing disguises.
Is that why you always wear those black leggings?
You've only just met me and you're making assumptions about what I always wear.
And making assumptions is the fun part of being a detective.
Well, you're right. I always wear these.
So what can you tell me about your relationship with Richard Remington?
I didn't have one. I think I spoke to him twice, ever. He usually seemed really busy, but more like preoccupied.
Preoccupied? Like he was thinking about something else? Something that wasn't this tourist attraction?
Who can say? What do old men think about?
What? Are you implying that I know the answer to that?
They're mine, but I left them here last night. Now they're covered in slime, and I don't want to go near them. I can draw way better than that.
Can you show me?
There's no time. Maybe in the sequel. Yeah, I have a pretty good view of him from here. Anyone supporting animal rights is okay in my book. His protest used to have a bit more energy, though. He spends more time inside his tent these days.
What's he doing in there?
I'm happy to say, I don't know.
There might be something I can ask Echo about. Echo spends more time holding the protest sign and less time in his tent. Oh, that doesn't make sense, does it? Echo has never spoken to Sally Spears and more time in his tent. I'm losing my... Echo spends more time holding the protest sign and less time in his tent. I'm losing my mind here. There's something people have noticed about Echo. Echo has never spoken to Sally Spears because he's so terrified. Sally Spears has never spoken to Echo because he's so terrified. I don't get it. Hopper has never spoken to Echo and less time in his tent. What is that? What's Echo been doing recently? Echo spends more time holding the protest sign and less time in his tent. I don't get it. Echo spends more time holding the protest sign and more time in his tent. Ooh, that's nearly right. Echo has recently acquired the protest sign and more time in his tent. Ooh, that's... Echo spends less time holding the protest sign and more time in his tent. I wonder if Echo can tell me what he's been doing that's more important than his protest.
Ah!
I heard you've been spending less time protesting recently and more time, in your tent. Normally I wouldn't pry, but it's my job to ask...
Untouched people have even noticed something like that. I usually get the impression everyone else is doing their best to ignore me.
So, you admit it's true?
You can put your notebook away. There isn't really any reason for it. Nothing worth writing down, at least.
Well, if it's not worth writing down, maybe it's worth hearing.
In that case, you'd forget it.
How do you know? Maybe it would echo in my mind.
Look, if you take a guess and get it right, I promise not to deny it.
Let's work out why Echo was hidden away in his tent. Notebook time. You've been in your tent, hiding from Boggy.
Why not?
I heard you've been spending less time protesting and more time, Normally I wouldn't pry, but it's my job to ask.
Untouched people have even noticed something like that. I usually get the impression everyone else is doing their best to ignore me.
So, you admit it's true?
You can put your notebook away. There isn't really any reason for it. Nothing worth writing down, at least.
Well, if it's not worth writing down, maybe it's worth hearing.
In that case, you'd forget it.
How do you know? Maybe it would echo in my mind.
Look, if you take a guess and get it right, I promise not to deny it.
Let's work out why. Notebook time. You've been in your tent, hiding from Boggy.
Why not?
Hey. I have no idea what that is. Is that your new friend? Sweet. I really don't know what to tell you.
Her. I don't know why she still works here, to be honest. One murder is one murder too many.
Where are you keeping all this stuff? In your pockets? Is that one of your clues? It's nice. You can put it away now. This was taken near the forest at the back of the swamp, correct?
Yes, I think so.
Mm-hmm. The water is really clear back there. The legs of this thing are reflected in the bottom half of the photo. It's a nice shot, actually.
A reflection? Oh, yeah, of course. A reflection in the water.
They're mine, but now they're covered in slime, and I don't want to go near them.
You said you knew Remington?
He and I knew each other for a long time. I came to work at his tourist attraction in the early days, when he needed help.
Well, what kept you here?
I know most people wouldn't want to work in a place like this. I actually like it here, so I was happy to oblige.
You might like it, but I still don't see why anyone would build a tourist attraction here.
Mr. Remington has his reasons. He probably had several. I don't presume to know what they all were. Even though we were friends, he had some secrets, some hobbies, that I was happy to let him keep secret.
Secrets? Hobbies? A secret hobby?
He was a man with a dream, I can tell you that much.
tree comes straight through the middle of the house. It even has little drawers carved into it. Okay, even I'll admit, that's pretty cool. You've been here so long, you must have crossed paths with Remington a few times. What did you think of him?
That man was a threat to the swamp. We'll be better off without him. Hopefully the curtain will fall on his little tourist attraction as well.
Better off? With a killer on the loose now?
There have been murderers loose in the swamp before.
What are you talking about?
In my time here, I've seen the swamp invaded by men. By hunters. Several times. They're relentless.
What were they hunting? Wait, what about Boggy? Is that why no one has seen him in 60 years?
They always fell short of their ultimate goal. That just meant they came back again and again, doing more harm each time.
But this area is protected by law, right?
It is now, but some men have no respect for laws, of any kind. They tried to get me to leave my home here. I stood my ground.
Obviously. But this whole area is a tourist attraction now. I doubt Remington would have allowed anyone to march into Boggy's bog with a gun and start hunting down his main attraction. Let's see. First thing we do is put the sample of liquid into, then tap the faucet. And now we just have to match the color of that liquid. Got it! Now I know what that liquid consists of. I'll write it down in my notes. Is that the same as last time? This was the exact same liquid. There's something about that green slime. The fireplace poker found at the crime scene and the black leggings are covered in the same swamp slime. Sally's leggings. They link her with the crime scene. I'll have to ask her about it.
You can put that away. I can't help you with it. You should ask someone else.
What's this? The black leggings you found in your bag this morning. They're covered in the same slime that was on the murder weapon.
Everything in this swamp is covered in slime. What's your angle, Grimoire?
your black leggings were part of the murderous costume.
Costume? Is that why someone took them out of my bag last night?
Well, I don't have proof someone else took them.
If I had been wearing them when I committed a crime, do you think I would hand them over to a detective the second he shows up? Besides, look at them. What do you notice?
They're loose and stretched.
That's right, someone else. Someone larger than me has worn these. They're stretched out, especially at the waist. It's pretty obvious.
So, let's see. Somebody stole them to use in their boggy costume, and then put them back in your bag when they were done?
If you say so. It's not my job to know all the details. It's my job to sell souvenirs. Do you want a souvenir?
Oh, my, yes, but only if you choose one for me.
You look like you could use something to wind up. You can take this one.
A fascinating old woman who lives in a wonderful treehouse. I heard she wasn't so keen on visitors, though. No, thank you. Show it to someone who doesn't live in a tree.
That museum is quite a nice building, which makes it look even more out of place in a swamp. Is it being held up on wooden supports? It's bizarre.
Ah! No thanks, my friend.
It's a humble gift shop. Brightly colored boggy. Is there something behind? There's a little locked door on the side of the ship here. I think it's part of the cafe.
I don't know what to say. I don't know very much about them. I can't help you with that one. Sorry. It's here a lot. I think he's been putting less effort into his protests recently, which is a shame. I think it's an admirable cause.
Do you talk to him much?
Not really. Sometimes he likes to talk, just casual conversation. He asks how business is going and what everyone likes to eat, nothing of real importance. You have a lot of suspects on that list. Why don't you show that to someone else?
Oh?
Boggy is my prime suspect, you know. The creature you're trying to protect.
Protect is the wrong word. If your suspicions were correct, we could both agree he's a creature that doesn't need protecting.
You think he might be the murderer?
I think he's a wild animal, and he wants to be left alone at any cost. I have nothing to say about them. A man who has sacrificed luxuries to protect those who need protecting. Pretty good beard, too. You're asking the wrong person. You're wasting your time with that one. No thanks, my friend.
Oh? I really don't have an opinion. My apologies. You should ask someone else.
I simply don't have time to help you with this. You want me to sign a photograph for you?
Oh? You should ask someone else. Try showing it to somebody different. What?
Ah, yes. The reason we're all here, of course.
Not me.
Isn't he your prime suspect?
Well, officially, yeah, but I mean...
What an amazing creature! No one has seen him for 60 years and he still manages to get accused of murder. Incredible! Now there's a man who could handle himself.
I'm not so sure.
Well, apart from yesterday, that was just a one-off, wasn't it?
For him, I think so, yes.
Ah!
What?
He was a friend for many years. If you have any questions about him or his belongings, I may be able to help you.
I'm not even sure who that is. You can put that away. I can't help you with it. No, thank you. I recognize some of those men. Unfortunately, they've hunted in the swamp before.
Before it became a protected area?
Before that, yes, and one of them after that. If you bring me something with liquid on it, I might be able to help you. You can put that away. I can't help you with it.
Let's see. First, then tap. And now, we just have to match the color. Got it! Now I'll... Was that the same? This was the exact... That museum is quite a nice bit, which makes it look... Is it... I don't think it's a window, but this hatch is shut at the moment. This side of the museum is surrounded by blue and red flowers. That museum is quite a... Wait, is it... That's the logo for Boggy's Bog. So, I'm guessing this museum is an official part of the tourist attraction. I hope they don't charge an entrance fee. What's this? There's a lockpick dropped amongst the weeds down here in the water. I just have to work out which vine to break and tap that button. That's the one. But I wonder where this lockpick came from. What's this?
If you want an autograph, a plain sheet of paper will suffice, thank you. I don't really have time to be looking at items from your collection. I don't know if it's any use to you at all. I'll film again tonight and try to get a version without all those bizarre noises in the background.
There's a little locked door on the side of the ship here. I think it's part of the cafe.
I can't help you with that one. Sorry.
Let's see. First thing we do is put and tap the... And now we just... Got it! Now I know what that liquid consists of. I'll write it down in my notes. What's going on here? That was definitely the same as the other tests.
Show it to somebody else.
Rocks sitting in the water like stepping stones. If that was a natural occurrence, it's a very convenient one. That museum is which makes it look... Is it being held up in... I don't think it's a window, but this hatch is shut at the moment. I can't see inside. This side of the museum is surrounded by... I'm impressed someone managed to pitch a tent here, and I'm... It's a colorful, boggy-themed padlock. He's staring into my soul. It should open if I set the right number.
Oh? No thanks, my friend. Why are you carrying that around with you?
I have a suspicion it may have been the murder weapon.
Really? I thought Remington was attacked by something with claws, wasn't he?
You won't be getting very far discussing that with me. Try someone less important. If you want an autograph, a plain sheet of paper... I don't really have time to be looking at items from your collection. He's been working with me for a number of years. A real expert, of course. The world's premier director. The king of wit and whimsy. You met him? You're a lucky man. I'm a busy man, and this doesn't look like it's worth my time. I simply don't have time to help you with this. He's a talented man, that Burl. Sometimes I wonder if he'd be better off pursuing his photography full-time, you know.
Oh? A prolific cameraman with exceptional skills at carrying heavy equipment. The famous director and my friend. I really don't have an opinion. My apologies. Yes, that's my photograph, taken near the woods at the north end of Boggy's Bog. Have you tried looking there? Vincent's work, I see. I'm glad he knows how to use the camera at least.
What do you think all those noises are?
Well, judging by the time this was recorded, I'd be able to make a pretty good guess. That's the food I saw Mr. Remington eating at the cafe last night.
Before he got ill and rushed back to his office?
That's right.
This is going down in my notebook. It might be important.
What is it? Some evidence from last night's murder? That's great. I'm sorry, I have not seen that before. What is it? Some evidence from last night's murder? That's great. I'm sorry, I have not seen that before. What is it? Some evidence from last night's murder? That's great.
Note to self, don't fall in. There's a hollow part of the tree right at the front, but it's too dark to see inside.
Hey. Is that one of your clues? It's nice. You can put it away now. I always thought it was weird that his feet are in that little bucket all the time.
It's just part of the character, I guess. I'm surprised they don't sell some sort of boggy foot soaker.
And that would be the one product I'd consider buying. These hats look pretty stupid. Luckily, kids seem to like stupid stuff.
You sell a lot of them?
Yeah, they're pretty popular. I have no idea what that is. Where are you keeping all this stuff? In your pockets? Is that one of your clues? It's nice. You can put it away now. I have no idea what that is.
Grass, trees, nothing unusual. A shipwreck? In a swamp? Does that make any sense? And why is there a cafe growing out of the side? The tables and chairs are made out of parts of a ship, I think. Never really learned much about ships.
Why don't you show that to someone else? That's Mr. Remington's old hunting rifle. He usually keeps it around, for whatever reason. He was very fond of that thing. Looks like it was fired recently. It's Mr. Remington's fireplace poker. This slime on the handle. It's familiar for some reason. One of Mr. Remington's secrets. I never wanted to know the details, but these men travel the world, seeking mysterious animals to hunt. They consider myths and legends to be the ultimate prey. They don't know everything, I'm afraid. I can't help you with that one. Sorry.
A shipwreck? And what? I wouldn't be using this old rope bridge if I had a choice. I've seen the movies, I know what happens. Someone please tell me why there's a house here. Well, the lights are on. Maybe somebody's home. I'm indoors. There's a whole load of needles and wool on that shelf. Or should I say yarn? I just don't know anymore. Check out that sunlight beaming through the window. It's so bright I should have brought my sunglasses. This is like an oven? Or is it just a boiler? It's so old-fashioned it hurts my brain. The owner of this house seems to enjoy reading, though I'm not sure what else there is to do up here, actually. There's a book on the table. I think it's a book about flowers. How fascinating. I must take some time to read it. A little blanket on a little bed in a little house. It makes very little sense. What's this? This staircase is a tree, and this place is so weird.
Try and solve every suspect's challenge topic. If you're struggling, don't forget to present profiles and clues to people who might be interested. Oh, and hurry up. It's cold in this boat.
That's where I need to go. I can switch to walk mode with the button in the bottom right. Oh, and if I'm feeling, I can turn off those sparkly hit icons in the options menu. What's this? This is the creepiest office I've ever...
That's great. I'm sorry I have not seen that before. What is it? Some evidence from last night's murder? That's great.
I don't really have time to be looking at items from your collection. You won't be getting very far discussing that with me. Try someone less important. If you want an autograph, a plain sheet of paper will suffice, thank you. I don't really have time to be looking at items from your collection. You won't be getting very far discussing that with me. If you want an autograph, a plain sheet of paper will suffice, thank you. I don't really have time to be looking at items from your collection.
Hey.
Is an opportunity. The two characters are an explorer and Boggy himself. It's an old statue of Boggy. I still don't quite understand why we have it. Don't forget to use walk mode to move. water is black and deep. My favorite kind.
Try and solve every suspect's challenge topic. If you're struggling, don't forget to present profiles and clues to people who might be interested. Oh, and hurry up. It's cold in this boat.
A lot of fog and a lot of trees. I can't wait to visit that area. Apparently, there's a museum to the left and a cafe to the right. I'm not hungry though. This place is putting me off food. Note to self, don't fall in. There's a hollow part of the tree right at the front, but it's too dark to see inside.
I'm afraid I have no idea. Show it to somebody else.
Is that one of your clues? It's nice. You can put it away now. I have no idea what that is.
Why don't you show that to someone else? He's dead, but he always knew what he was getting involved with.
If you bring me something with liquid on it, I might be able to help you. You can put that away. I can't help you with it.
Remington's desk is covered in drawings. It's all about Boggy. An ink bottle spilled into his work. Yeesh, it's a bit of a mess. Perhaps there's something underneath those drawings. It's a note. The handwriting is of Richard, our man of the world. We're worried that the efforts regarding our send word when you can. The letter is signed FF. And attached, it's some kind of... The whole thing is a... Vincent Vanderpeer's business card. There's a couple of numbers scribbled on the back. Vincent Vanderpeer. There's a... It's a letter Remington was before. My dear fellow, I received your note 2 weeks ago, but I've only recently found. I feel like my time in this awful swamp, all due to the the red. It's a letter Remington wrote before my. I feel all due. It's the hand Richard. We're worried that send word when you can. The letter is signed and it's some kind of whole thing. Vincent Vanderpeer. There's a couple. This is the creepiest. This is the creepiest office. Remington's desk is covered in... It's all about... An ink bottle spilled into his work. Yeesh. Perhaps this... No way. No way. Is this a werewolf? The open window looks over the wooden planks outside. Oh, and on one side, hunting memorabilia. Claws, teeth. It would be an impressive collection if it wasn't so disturbing. This is the creepiest off. Something happened here. There are signs of a struggle between the desk and the window. This is the creepiest off. These animals, I don't recognize any of them. This is the creepiest. These animals, I don't recognize. Photos and paintings line the wall above the fire, but one of the frames is empty. Wait a second. What are these pieces on the floor underneath it? This photograph. It's a young Remington and some other men I don't know. They're all holding rifles. Maybe I can ask Harper about it. There's an open window above Remington's body. One of the curtains is ripped and hanging on the outside. Photos and paint, but one of them made this. Maybe something happened. There's these animals. I don't recognize. I don't know what's in that jar, and I wish it wasn't in there. I'm gonna stop looking at it now. An old hunting rifle. This isn't the kind of thing I can. This is the creepiest. Hunting memorabilia. It would be an.
That's great. I'm sorry I have not seen that before.
You won't be getting very far discussing that with me. Try someone less important. If you want an autograph, a plain sheet of paper will suffice, thank you.
I'm impressed someone managed to, and It's a colorful, boggy-themed padlock. He's staring into my soul. It should open if I set the right number. I'm impressed someone managed to pitch a tent here, and I... It's a colorful piece. It's Echo's tent. It's a color piece. These flower petals seem a rather prominent tree stump looming over the wooden pathway. It's hard to ignore.
What?
Not suspicious. Suspicious.
Oh?
Not suspicious. Suspicious! Note to self. I'm impressed someone managed to... and I...
Ah!
What can you tell me about these designs for a costume? A boggy
It's
costume.
Boggy! I must admit, I've been a fan of his before I...
A fan? So you're interested in cryptozoology?
Oh, no, I meant, well, Boggy has been in all kinds of cartoons and comic strips. He's one of the greatest characters of the last 100 years. I've got some comics in my tent. You really should see.
But he was only discovered 60 years ago.
Oh, that's true. Well, I rounded up.
But what about his costume? Have you seen anyone wearing it?
I can honestly say I've never seen anyone wearing anything like that. And I'm a very observant person.
Boggy is my prime suspect, you know.
No thanks, my friend.
Looks like this path leads towards the north. I can't... Looks like this path... I'm impressed someone... and I...